Welcome back, everybody. Today you have me, Emily, and Jeremy at the table, and we are going through our top 40 through 31 games.
Yeah, we're getting down there. We're getting to our faves.
Getting up in the list.
We're going to try to hold back some of the exciting, but of course, these are some of the games that are going to be near and dear to us. So
I'm excited for it. So, Jeremy, you want to kick us off? What's your number?
No, you're going to kick us off.
I'm going to kick us off.
Ladies first. Jeez, what kind of person do you think I am? Are you kidding me? Shout out to my mom. You know
okay, I will go with my number 40 is Caverna, Cave Farmers. Yes, so this is a game that gets compared a lot to Agricola, right? Okay. Same designer.
Yeah.
So it's a worker placement game, but I really like this game because there's so much you're doing to build out your little cave factory, right? There's a lot of production. It has that same feel where it's very tight like Agricola, but you don't have to feed the workers in the same way.
I like farming.
It's a great thing. But it's just a really tight, nice flowing worker placement game, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, when you speak Uwe, we're talking like straight up classics. I feel like if you like Euro, what I say the Euro games, they are definitely that definitely is a sign whether like these are on your list or not. Yeah, definitely. Mine is a little lighter. It is probably my favorite party game, and that's Just One. Just One. As I say, it's approved everywhere. I've used it in training for team building. I've used it in several situations. I even used it in the hood for a party, and it killed in the party. Trust me. We were playing a lot of bad games, and Just One killed it. But if you don't know Just One, you're just basically taking one person's a guesser person, and then everybody else actually has the information, and they write on these little boards and stuff,
dry erase boards.
And like if the words match, then they get eliminated. So then the person has to figure out how to answer the word, and it's just a really fun game. It cleans up, and then kind of everybody learns their language.
Yeah, so you're trying to make something that's a good guess, but also not common amongst everyone else. So you're kind of like, what's your individual personal style and how you're going to
That's exactly what it is. It's like you learn a lot, which is why I use it in team building. So I just thought that was really cool. That game. Just a fantastic game. It cleans up at parties. Cleans up.
I like that one. Let's go on to 39. Yeah. My 39 is Seven Wonders Duel.
Wow.
So this is a 2-player game, and I love this. I will say I played Seven Wonders, and I like it. It's not on my top 50 list, spoilers, but Seven Wonders Duel did make it on, just because it's such a clean experience. You're still doing drafting. It's a tableau builder, but because it's with 2 people, there's a lot of, I feel like, more planning you can do, knowing what they're going to do versus what you're going to do, and it's so quick. My sister and I play this game like while we're waiting for a meal, and we just like break it out and play it super quick.
Wow. Hopefully they get their meals faster than what you can play a Seven Wonders Duel. Okay.
But yeah, it's a really good one and good for 2 players.
Wow. Crazy quick story about Seven Wonders Duel, and I can't remember if this is entirely true because it was very funny to me. Somebody taught me how to play Seven Wonders Duel. I entered a tournament blind.
What?
At a little local. It was like a local con at a store.
Okay.
And I played a guy, and although some people were helping me, I think this is why I was not legit to him. I beat the guy who like won it the year before.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like,
you're crushing dreams.
I actually barely knew how to play the game. And here I am winning, and I think he was mad because I eliminated him.
You eliminated him from his top 50
and I got
list,
a
I'm
promo pin or a card, and he was so angry. Anyway, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, I just thought of that. I was like, Seven Wonders Duel. I hurt that man over a promo card, I think it was. Tale to Walkin' is my next game. Tale. T games, right? You've heard one T game, another T game. You will find that Daniel Tassini is one of my favorite designers. So Teo is, without going too deep into it, you have dice once again. You're moving around a track. You got all these different things that go on different tracks. You got to pay for how many dice are there, different people's dice. It's just a very, very pleasing game. Super, super crunchy.
Thinky Euro.
It is, though. It is crunchy goodness, but I just adore that game, and with more expansions that they added to it, it's just better and better and better. Tough to love solo game, but I definitely eat it up because I did the work to love it. So
that's good. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
38. My 38 is Viscounts of the West Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Viscounts. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the West Kingdom games, and so Viscount made it to number 38. You keep saying wow, and I'm not sure if it's wow because it's so high or wow because it's so low, or where the wow is coming from.
Maybe
but
I'm just Luke. What's the name? I'm just saying.
Well, what I really liked about it is that it has the card management where you're placing your cards for your action selection, and as you go down, you get to use the different icons.
Yeah.
You're going around like a rondel board with your movement, and you can take the actions for where you land on based on also which card you played. It has a castle in the middle where you're moving these guys up, and it kind of has this like trickle down effect where we have 3 at 1, they move down. It just has so many working parts that work really well together.
Yeah,
right? They come in and you're like, ooh, I can do this, I can do that, and like you're trying to be as efficient as possible, but also get these really big moves where everything comes together at once.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. Like, this is the thing. You're probably thinking like, is he like shooting? I'm just surprised. Like, we're learning a lot. We don't know each other's lists, so this is
true.
really
That's
interesting.
True. This is all shock.
Yeah, it's all shock value. Everything you see here is instant reactions. It's live. It's real. It's honest. Like whatever. We don't know each other's lists, so it's whatever. Mine next up is Snowdonia. Speaking of Euro, speaking of dry as it gets. But this one is not dry because. So what you're doing is basically you're going and digging, you're going along a track and you're digging out rubble and kind of building a railroad through the mountain. And the day and night track kind of changes how some of the conditions work because you can only do so much work when it's raining outside or it's sunny outside.
Gotcha.
So you have that as well. And then you also have these trade pieces that you can add that do multiple things. But it's just a cool little thing where you're kind of dedicating your actions, you're dedicating people to turns. So you have this little interesting thing about turn order. And they have some of the silliest modules that you can add to this stuff. I mean, they go with goats, pushing up the goats up the mountain. They go with all kinds of, it's just small things all the way up to ridiculous things. That game, Tony Modell, just amazing game. Alibari, another version of that. I was going to say,
is it the
So that was supposed to be an expansion. I mean, that was supposed to just be a module and it became a board game. It's a really good, more streamlined version of the game. Great game. Great game.
Alibari
used to be
really well
way up my top list. But times change. Things change. Feelings change. Seasons change.
Well, I'm talking about seasons. My number 37 is viticulture.
Wow, we did connect on that one. So there you go. That's the silliness that happens.
So you're making wine over different seasons of the year. I've played the Essential Edition, so it's a little bit different than that first edition. I think there weren't as many seasons.
Yes.
And this kind of breaks it up a bit more, which I really enjoyed because that worker placement of like where you're going in the season is a little bit more streamlined, or like there's more simplistic of like which decision you can make right now, so you're like trying to plan for the future as well. And then you have cards as well you're getting, and the cards do like kind of rule breaking effects, so I really enjoyed both of those elements coming together. The theme was fine. We're making wine, but I really enjoyed my plays of viticulture.
It's just a very solid game, and it's one of those games where it's like a hybrid into like, hey, I've introduced you to some things in the hobby, and then like we can play it. Or it's just a game that generally a lot of people know because they've been playing it forever. This could be somebody's favorite game, or it's just a game that people play a lot.
It's right on that cusp where you can play it with either group.
Yeah,
which
that's what I
think
like. That
makes it very versatile.
I totally get that one. Mind Management is my next one.
Ooh.
What a game. That game came out of nowhere. I mean, like, when I say it came out of nowhere, it came out of nowhere. So, hidden movement, you're trying to get around and find these people. You're trying to basically recruit, I believe. So, you're trying to recruit people. And then you have the other agents that are trying to come find you. All I can tell you about this game, it's very exciting the whole time. It's very exciting for you because you're kind of like, you feel like you have the advantage, but then you're at a disadvantage a lot. There's a lot of tension when people are chasing you around. And the thing is, the other people are doing such a good job of having conversation on how they're going to find you.
Yeah.
And the big seller of this game is that whoever loses gets better. So it's like you open up a new thing. They have, I think, like 16 of them. You open up a new thing, and it gives you another way that you need to be caught, or it gives you another set of powers.
Yeah.
So it's just something I did not expect in that design. And I feel like it could have just been an okay game if it didn't have that part.
Right.
But once you add just the actual real game and you add that stuff, it just goes to a whole nother level. That game blew me away. last year.
Yeah, I remember when you guys were first talking about it. You were kind of just like, oh, let's play this game. And you're like, whoa, I played this game, Mind Management.
It just blew me, absolutely came out of nowhere and hit me. So, yeah. No.
Well, 46 for me is not one that blew me away at first, but it is a classic. And that's Agricola.
Oh, wow.
So, I know, Caverna and Agricola in the same
Did you grow up on a farm?
And you know what? I don't really love the farming theme that much.
Yeah.
But again, lots of Euros have the farming theme.
Yeah.
They just capitalize on it a lot. And what I really enjoy is the worker placement and how tight it is.
Yeah.
I talked about how Agricola has where you're paying your workers.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I hate that because it's so tense. But on the other hand, I love it because it's so tense. Like, you're just trying to make sure, like, can I really do everything I need to do by the end of this round? It happens so fast, especially when you start, you only have 2 workers. You're like, how am I going to do anything? But then by the end of the game, you're like, oh, I did all this stuff. How did I do this? I'm so great.
It's another one of those claim to fame for Uwe's. It's just, yeah. Well, you'll see something from me from Uwe. Yeah, we will get there. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. The next one up is Magnificent. That game, wow.
What?
Wow. The Magnificent is an absolutely amazing game. Taking dice and taking those and using the power of those dice and triggering the cards, and that leads to these different actions that you're abstractly trying to perform or things like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got this little tile puzzle that you got going on.
You're recruiting performers. Going around town putting up posters.
Just absolute, it's low-key a very pleasing game to find, and I'm glad people are starting to see it. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that the game is on sale a lot now.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
because I want more people to go, hey, I didn't know about this game. It's one of those games that I think the publisher kind of didn't bring over initially, and now you can get the expansion and the game. And I think if it's on sale, it's worth the risk. You need to try this game, and it is Magnificent.
Yeah, I will say my number 35 is the Magnificent. I'm not joking. So double promo for the Magnificent. And I will say the one thing you didn't mention about it yet, which is the best part of this game, if you didn't know, is that because the theme is the circus and the traveling show, it reminds you of The Greatest Showman. And so the whole time you have to sing to yourself, this is the greatest show. If you play this game with me, I will be humming it under my breath the entire game. But like the colored dice, the dice drafting, everything Jeremy said.
It's like weirdly themed, like what they did, art style. And, it's just.
I love it. I love it so much. That's so funny. So when you said it for 36, I was like, I'm literally about to talk about this.
So this is probably this one here means a lot to me, and I actually was kind of surprised that it wasn't lower on my list, or higher on my list, I should say, because I play it a lot, and that's Unmatched, the Unmatched series. There's not much more I can say because I talk about it quite a bit, but the range of characters, the range of abilities for those characters, and the fact that they have these decks. I don't go as deep as some of the biggest fans, which know which ones are balanced and they have tiers and stuff like that. But keep them coming. Keep them coming. These big boxes with different types of characters. I want more of that game. I never get tired of that game. I'll play with you anytime, and that is Unmatched.
That's great.
Yeah.
My number 34 is Trois. So another dice drafting game. I really like the dice drafting, actually. It's the theme though, not as good as the Magnificent, we'll say. It's pretty heavy Euro, just bland theme. But the game mechanics of actually how you're drafting these dice and how you can mitigate it to change and take other people's dice next to you. I love that. You have cards around the board that are getting flipped every round, and you're using those dice to take certain actions. But it's very tight on all your resources, on all your actions. And I love that feel for it. For at the end, you have to play efficiently to feel like you really accomplished a lot and got a lot done.
I just bought Trois.
Did you?
I just bought it about 2 weeks ago. Like I said, I'm going back into these older games just to see what people appreciate so much.
Well, I think you'll keep this one for sure.
I think it'll be a keeper. Even when I read the instructions, I was like, this is so me. This is right on my alley. Yeah, definitely. My next one is another one of these 18-card games that you may see a pattern of, and this one is Sprawlopolis. This is by Button Shy Games. I'm a Button Shy Games fan. They make small games, usually around 18 cards. This one here, you have a city, and you're trying to build these things and build roads and areas that connect by color and things like that. Okay. But on the back of each one of those cards has a scoring condition. Ooh. So when you shuffle them, you get the 3 cards. You get scoring conditions and a score you have to beat. So you have all these different things that not only are you trying to make sure your roads connect so you don't have negative points at the end, but you're also trying to complete those conditions and get the points to score. Like, it's a very, very fun game, and it's cooperative. It's a really good solo puzzle, and it just works at both stages. They even have a game called Agropolis, which is like a sequel to it.
Okay.
I would just tell you, go to Button Shy's website and just have at it. Find the 5 games that you think are interesting and just go for it. Really, really great game. But that one is one of the best of them all.
Nice. Well, my 33 is also a cooperative game.
Okay.
And that is Hanabi.
Oh, Hanabi.
Yeah, I really like Hanabi. If you don't know it, is a game where you're picking up cards, and this is the hardest part of the game, is that when you take a card...
Picking up the cards.
Yes, because you have to make sure that it's not facing you. It's actually facing out.
Yeah.
And you're just so used to picking up cards facing you that you'll do it, and you'll be like, oh, no. But what everybody else on the table can see what you have, and what they're going to do is they're going to, on their turn, either play a card from your hand or tell somebody else a piece of information about their hand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a deduction game. It's cooperative. You're trying to build a fireworks display in the middle, and I really enjoy it. You can play it really strict, really tight with like no talking and just straight deduction, which I've played and loved. Or you can play it at the end of a game night when there's been a few drinks and you're like, I'm going to play this card. And they're like, you're like, I'm not going to play this card. Yeah. And it's so fun. Like, however strict you want to play it, it's still just a fun game.
That game, I barely remember it playing it.
Really?
I just barely remember it. Not that I didn't like it, but I just barely remember playing it. So I may have to play that one again.
Yeah, I'll have to bring it out again.
Yeah. My next one is actually I combined them, was Hostage Negotiator and Final Girl. Now they are different. They're definitely different. They just share the system of the dice and the cards and stuff like that. Where I love Hostage Negotiator, and I don't mind chucking dice and dealing with the hard result of these dice. You know, it's like low win percentage type games.
Oh, God.
But, you know, because you got to get lucky. You got to get successes. And you're trying to get these cards to kind of build a deck so that you can interact with what's going on.
Sure.
And it's amazing how they threw this theme together to kind of simulate these agitated people who could kill hostages.
Wow.
I can't express it enough. They have demands in the base game, and then you're trying to figure out how to meet those demands, but you got to get these successes so you can play cards and talk them out of it. And then they kind of play with that even deeper in a more thematic sense in Final Girl, where you're basically trying to take care of people and hide them from these killers. That game, what a great game. And they milked it in a great way. The Hostage Negotiator all the way to like 10 different guys, and now they have this Final Girl where they've gone about 10 or so deep into that, and that's a design that keeps on giving. That's kind of the sign of a great game to me.
So Jeremy, though, are they too scary? Because for me, I was like, Final Girl, it seems horror. I'm a little worried I'm going to get too scared.
Hostage Negotiator, what I like about Hostage Negotiator, and I think that may be more your thing, it's interesting how much theme comes into those cards.
Yes.
The cards. It's just like when you're in, it may seem a little dry, but on their end, when you flip over cards and they're like, I'm disgruntled because my mom, whatever, or it's just like, I'm going to be fired, and it's like, I mean, there's like a disgruntled teacher.
Oh my gosh.
There's like all these like funny little decks in there. And I just, that design it just kind of blew me away. That was another one of my first new hobby games. Yeah.
So my 32 is one where I did like the theme a lot, and this is Rococo. And this is where we're making dresses. I love this theme. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but we're making dresses, and you're using cards for your action selection. It's another Euro, right?
Yeah.
Where we're doing a lot of different things at once. We're building resources to build the dresses in the certain rooms in the house so you can get more points and score more. It's got all your great mechanics. With dresses.
I know.
I love that we're building dresses. And I think that honestly was part of it for me. At the end of you got that accomplished feeling of everything you did in the game, but at the same time, I just had like this light and uplifting theme.
Yeah.
Instead of it being farming.
Theme come on, all right. Instead of like Euro game themes, right? Yeah. And I think that's like an icing on the cake for it.
Right.
But it really is a very, very solid game. There's an Eagle Griffin version of it that's absolutely gorgeous. But both versions are gorgeous. That's the thing. Like you have two different versions of a very gorgeous game, but it's a very engaging game. And it doesn't take that long to play, too.
No, not too long.
So yeah, that's definitely one I highly recommend because I just played it just recently, last year. So that's a really good one. But mine is better. No, it's not. No. My next one is Cascadia. Cascadia was in my top 10 last year, and that's because I just feel like it is like it's close to perfect because that game, it's so accessible. It is one of the most accessible games, I think, when you want to teach someone board games. Basically, you have these different animals with different scoring positions. You're taking these pieces and you're trying to put together your little terrains and things that match up, and trying to get these different animals that match up and score different ways to kind of meet the conditions. I mean, people talk about it quite a bit, and how easy it is. I see it at cons being played all the time. You could have it and have a cup of coffee. We could have a cup of coffee.
We could do it right now. We could play it while we're doing this.
Just play Cascadia while we're playing this. I mean, like, there's decisions to be made. It's not that sure. But we're just trying to say, get a cup of Joe.
Yeah.
And you can definitely enjoy, enjoy Cascadia. There you go.
Well, to round us out, my number 31 might be a little controversial because I've never technically played it.
Whoa.
What? And my number 31 is Time's Up, or it's called Fishbowl.
Okay.
When we played it, we've never played the actual published edition of it.
Okay.
We used to always call it Pass, Catch, Raids, because it's password, catchphrase, and charades. It's the exact same game. I've just never played a published version of it.
Interesting.
But I have played this game quite a bit. And it's a party game. It's a lot of fun. So you're basically going through a deck of cards or a bunch of words, or we could play it right now and just make up words and put them in a hat and take them out. And the first round, you're doing something like password, where you're trying to guess what the word is based on one word clue.
Okay.
And then you do, or catchphrase is the first one, where you're trying to guess, you're doing the same rules as catchphrase, where you're trying to talk about the word and what it might be. Okay. And then you do one where you're doing charades, where you're actually acting it out and trying to get the person to guess the word again.
Can you give us a sample? No.
I love this game, though, because it's a classic party game. You can play with a big group of people. You can play on teams. And it just gets people up and moving and combines a lot of different party games that I like all into one.
That seems like something my family would play. When I go to my dad's house, they would have these types of games like that one. That just seems so up my alley, too.
And it's just a lot of fun. You could start getting these running jokes, right? Where, if the clue's Jeremy, one time they said this about Jeremy, and then someone acted this way about Jeremy. And you get these running jokes.
Dynamic. Yeah. I love that. So my last one here is Chronicles of Crime. Chronicles of Crime was like my game of the year, I believe, at the time. Chronicles of Crime. I like investigative shows. I watch a lot of the ID channel. Trust me, I watch all that trash. I also watch a lot of Forensic Files and things like that. That says a lot about my personality, and maybe, I don't know, but I do like to solve crimes. I like the study of crime, and this one does that, and it uses app, and this is one of my introductions to apps, and it's probably the reason why I like technology integrated into my games.
Gotcha.
But basically, you're trying to solve crimes. You set it with the situation, and you have this board where you're actually taking physical parts and scanning them, but you have this cool selling point, which is you take your device and you hold it up, and you can look at the crime scene.
Oh, wow.
And you can give clues to people, and then they get the evidence cards and lay out the evidence, and you can have different conversations, and then you go to different locations, and you have your little forensic scientist that can help you.
Oh, wow.
And then at the end, you go and you answer questions about it and see if you solve the crime. And you can see how well you solve the crime, and it gets dark, too. The stories are really well written. They get very dark, and I love that.
Oh, my gosh.
They don't shy away. They don't shy away. That's cool. They don't shy away from the harsh themes of what the story and writing are. They don't hold it back. And I really appreciate that about that design. It is very good. Keep on giving. And they even changed some of the themes to like different times, and like 2040, 2400, or back in the day in 1640 and all that stuff like that. So they have some really cool things. They even have like a Stranger Things type one too.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, there you go.
Well, that is our top 40 through 31 for me and Jeremy. Be on the lookout for the same for David and Ryan, and we'll have more videos coming as well, all leading up into our ultimate top 10 list. But until we see you then, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.
Take care.